The first part of our evening is to hear from Mayor Marjorie Sloan, Golden's own, share with us her observations about the state of our community. Mayor Sloan?
Thank you, Peggy, for that nice introduction and for all the work you put into making this event a success. You've been phenomenal. Also, thanks to the many members of Golden Rotary. You know, so many of them have spent so much time on not just this event, but so many things that happen in Golden. And so we appreciate Rotary. And of course, all the other sponsors mentioned by Peggy, all of them are such important contributors to our community life. And I don't see Jamie here, but the Fossil Trace Three Tomatoes staff has been phenomenal. So we appreciate that. This is a great venue for a place like this. And we've mentioned the City of Golden as a sponsor, but without Denise Hish, an individual at the City of Golden, this wouldn't have happened. She's done some wonderful work on this, and I really appreciate it. And thank all of you for attending this evening. It's so good to see everyone and get a chance to talk with you about our community. I would like to put your minds at rest. The program gave me a half hour. This won't take a half hour. Less than half of that, in fact. And I know it's traditional to tell a joke at the beginning of a talk like this, but I just read a newspaper article about the mayor of Topeka. And in his State of the City address, his jokes offended so many people that he was almost... Read about it yourself, they're disgusting. That he was almost run out of town, and I don't want that to happen to me. I like it here too much. My husband, Dendy, over there, and I have had the privilege of living in Golden a long time now, but I still get excited when heading home. I first bought our town nestled between its distinctive mesas and its mountain backdrop. There is no place like home when your home is Golden. When I introduce myself to someone who lives outside of our community, more often than not, I'm greeted with a comment about what a special place Golden is. Now, I know that. We all know that. But their remarks remind me that Golden's reputation extends far beyond our city limits and far beyond what our small size might warrant. There's a lot of affection for Golden in the metro area and farther afield. Last week, Golden was ranked second in the nation among small towns. By Livability.com, a website that highlights America's best places to live and visit. And last night, Dindy and I were having dinner with friends from Nebraska, and they told us that the #1 town, Papillion, Nebraska, can't hold a candle to Golden. So we were robbed. But our #2 ranking did correctly cite our access to recreation, our wonderful lifestyle, our small town friendliness, thriving arts and culture scene, and wide array of restaurants, plus our great research institutions in Golden. Of special note is our very photogenic Welcome Arch has become a media star in its own right. It's been pictured on websites and magazines and featured on national television. We've even heard the president's feelings about Golden during his campaign visit to Lions Park. Before the mountain backdrop that we often take for granted, he made a nonpartisan and incontestable comment. He said, "This is just too pretty." And as remarkable as our surroundings are, Golden is not just another pretty face. What makes Golden truly special are the people who live here. It's a privilege to be mayor of a town that puts such a high value on the importance of community and emphasizes our role and responsibilities as neighbors and citizens. Later this evening, we will honor several of those who have taken the commitment to community to really notable levels. But the values and dedication they have displayed, that's more the rule than the exception in Golden. Golden's residents work together for the good of our town like few others. But as much as we love Golden and value the haven we've created here, we realize Golden is not a floating island. We're connected to the world that surrounds us. We're residents of Jefferson County. Most of us visit, work, and play in other parts of the county on a regular basis. We're residents of the Jefferson County School District. We depend on the quality educational options it provides for the children of Golden and for our economy. We're residents of the Front Range as well. And we share our neighborhood's excitement when, for example, Denver is highlighted as the site of the first presidential debate. And of course, we're all Coloradans, and we wear that label with pride. But the same threats that challenge our neighbors, from wildfires to economic crises, to a shooting tragedy, to the disappearance of a little girl, also affect us. We have a responsibility to extend our dedication and participate on a broader arena. When we collaborate with our neighbors, good things happen. When we isolate ourselves or burn bridges, we miss important opportunities. A good example of this truism can be found on the issue of transportation, which has been on our minds a lot lately. For instance, by ourselves, Golden could never have built a light rail line that ties us to Denver. The rail line was made possible by the approval in 2004 of a regional sales tax for fast tracks. We ultimately benefited from the choices made and the taxes paid by voters who don't live in Golden. And now, just a few months short of the opening of our light rail station, we shouldn't turn our backs on our neighbors who are still waiting for the full build-out of a complete light rail system. And in connection with automotive traffic, Golden stands at a crossroads, literally and figuratively. We are, of course, at the intersection of US 6, State Highway 93, and State Highway 58. These roads connect us to the metro area and beyond. But they also have the potential to funnel congestion and related problems into our town. For decades, Golden has stood up to those who want to push a major superhighway through town. And frankly, we've been pretty successful in the courts, in the legislature, and in agencies. We've won key battles. And as our residents made clear at our town's recent transportation meeting, and online forum, Golden remains opposed to a poorly designed, multi-lane highway that would cut through our community. Yet, our residents also agree that we can't just be against something. We have to stress the principles and values that we support. I've been reaching out to other city mayors and over lunch and breakfast, making our priorities, Golden's priorities, clear. And yet spreading the word that we support thoughtful regional transportation planning and are willing to do our part in reaching common ground. Golden City councilors have been carrying the same message to their counterparts throughout the state. Golden engineers have been working with engineers from the state and other towns to see what good transportation improvements would look like in Golden and how they would serve the residents of Golden and the metro area. More constructive conversations took place last month when Colorado Department of Transportation officials came to City Council. They acknowledged Golden's special location and needs. They also described the predicament that faces the state when it comes to paying for badly needed transportation improvements. Even within Golden, our transportation needs far outstrip our available revenue. The funding challenge is real, and it impacts all of us. Another regional issue will face Golden voters at the ballot box this fall. The Jefferson County school system is asking for approval of 3A, a tax increase, and 3B, a bond issue. Jeffco schools have a tradition of excellence. Our students continue to outperform the state average in all grade levels and content areas on standardized tests. The additional revenue raised by the passage of 3A and 3B will be used to maintain class size, protect elementary music programs, and tonight we heard the result of the beginning of the music programs with our great Golden High School combo, and protect library staffing, cover utility costs, and keep students safe, warm, and dry in their school buildings. Good schools result in good property values, and they attract good businesses. Unlike Lake Wobegon, Golden is not the town that time forgot. But like Lake Wobegon, we can think of all our students as above average. And as Lake Wobegon's first citizen, Garrison Keeler has said, "Nothing you do for children is ever wasted." Golden City Council has taken a position in support of the school ballot issues. A third area I think important to Golden relates to gun violence. We can still feel the reverberations from the Aurora shooting. It was horrifying. Tomorrow evening at City Council, we're going to discuss a resolution that asks our state and federal legislators to take steps to strengthen the gun sales background check system and to begin a broad-based conversation on common sense, constitutional solutions to gun violence, keeping firearms out of the hands of dangerous people. Stephen Barton, a victim of the Aurora incident, will be there to urge council to pass the resolution. He isn't a Golden resident. In fact, he lives in a Connecticut town almost exactly the size of Golden. He had the bad luck of stopping to see a Batman movie during a post-graduation cross-country bike trip, and he was shot in the face and neck. His experience brings home the fact that gun violence is not confined to any one city's boundaries. Curbing this violence is a thorny issue and a difficult issue, but I am certain that American leaders are smart enough and creative enough to come up with a plan that respects the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens, yet helps protect us from shooting tragedies that have become so common. City Council will consider tomorrow night asking our leaders to get to work on this issue and get something done. Doing our utmost to safeguard the health and safety of Golden residents is the most important responsibility of City Council. And Golden has a terrific City Council. Mayor Pro Tem Joe Boehm, councilors Saoirse Karras-Graves, Saoirse? Graves? Yeah. Marsha Claxton, I know is here too. Bill Fisher, back there. Marcy Miller, in the corner. And Bob Vermeulen. They have worked together to write another chapter in Golden's success story. They represent their districts and wards so well, and they have pitched in to make the city as a whole a better place to live. The efforts of City Manager Mike Bester, in the back, with Lily. Lily, stand up and wave. Yeah. Okay. His management team and the entire city staff have made Golden's municipal services second to none and put our town in a strong financial position, which is truly unusual in today's economy. Every year in January, Mike gives a more detailed state of the city address, and it's well worth going to. For one thing, he's the one that tells the jokes, and they're good jokes. And for another, he'll give us the inside story on the accomplishments of each department. But from anyone's perspective, it's an understatement to say that Golden has had an amazing year. Just a quick look back shows visits from a sitting president, international cyclist, a veteran news commentator, Tom Brokaw, Buffalo Bill lookalikes, a girl running barefoot across the country, lots of relatives, and several bears. And I can speak from personal experience on the bears. Unlike the relatives, they don't clean up after themselves. And anyone who's ever had a bear in your yard knows what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, ask somebody else. You'll get an answer. We've won awards. We've added a new flag, a bronze statue, but it's an original, really super bronze statue. A beautiful senior housing complex at Lewis Court. More ways to communicate with the city. And we've striped wider, safer bike lanes on Ford Street. We've subtracted a vehicle lane on Ford Street. In furtherance of our Complete Streets policy, where everyone gets an opportunity to have a safe experience on our roads, whether they're in wheelchairs, on bikes, walking, or driving. We all use the street. And another thing we've subtracted is we've restricted ways for our young people to get access to tobacco products, and we're really proud of that. The Golden History Museums have reached an entirely new level. And Nathan, the head of the Golden History Museums, is back here. We're really proud of the museums. Our cultural organizations have had phenomenal exhibits. To mention just one, the Chihuly exhibit at Foothills Art Center drew folks from thousands of folks from across the nation, and I saw Riley here. Okay, we can thank Riley Sandburn for that. The exhibit was amazing. As in every year, we have lost and will continue to mourn cherished Golden residents. But we've also welcomed babies and other new residents to our community. Next year, with the coming of light rail and the continuing implementation of the Golden Vision Plan, we're going to have another phenomenal year. We'll have some challenges to address, and we'll have some disagreements along the way, maybe about Ford Street. And, and that's temporary for now. We're seeing how it works. It's been paint, which is not a big investment, but we're hoping it will function for everyone. And I know, as in Ford Street, that we're currently getting a lot of emails about, we'll work through these disagreements together. I have every confidence in our Golden community that we will do that. Thank you so much for gathering here this evening.